Be right back. Okay. My my back injuries. I had a couple of them. One as a commercial fisherman, and I believe I was 16. But I know it was definitely before I was 18. That's what I know. And that was on a windy, rough, wavy day. Whitecaps. Anyone who's ever been out on the water knows what I'm talking about, whitecaps. I mean, they weren't only whitecaps, they were swells. I'd say about 6 to 12 feet swells with whitecaps. It was I was trying to put a 3,000-pound anchor in the skiff. You know, I was able to roll that from where it was on the ground. You know, because the type of anchor I'm talking about, it's got a bar across and then the anchor. You know, you got a bar and then how the hook parts of the anchor. Yeah, it was like one of those. That's why I say I was able to roll it because, you know, you had one bar to push and then you'd switch to the other side and push. But anyway, I was able to roll it to the skiff and put the top part of the anchor bar right over the side of the skiff there on the starboard side. And how I used to put them in the skiff I oh fuck. I would get under it like how I'm trying to do right now. No, just under it like this. And then pick up the bottom, use my body, and lift with my shoulder till I got leverage to the bar. Was able to be stable and it'd be balanced on the skiff. And then I'd be able to do that, push it into the skiff. But anyway, the weather was really fucking bad and the waves were just pounding the skiff. And one of the waves managed to push the skiff out. But I got stuck in a position like this where I was literally being fucking smashed between the skiff and the anchor. And you guys know how them Ziploc bags make that noise when you close it? Well, that's what was going on with my spine. And then I got another injury on my back. It was in 2006, the winter of. It was going to be 2007. My ex, I found out she was fucking around with me with a Tyrone. And she didn't like that I found that out. So I started packing my shit and was ready to leave. Dead middle winter of the night. Dead middle winter of the fucking night. It was sleet, snow. I was going to go to the nearest shelter I possibly could, which was about 40 miles away. And the one thing that fucked me up about it is that I locked her out as best I could so I can pack my suitcase. And she went into the kitchen and got a knife and pushed open the thing between the door trim and the door. When you turn the knob, that little tongue that sticks out, that collects into that notch there when you lock the door. She's able to push that open, and then I saw it open, so I ran to the door. And she weighed 250 pounds. And and at the time I only weighed 125. So my small frame body plus my injury, I wasn't going to be able to keep her from coming through that door. But when she finally pushed that door open, that door connected exactly right down the middle of the front of my chest. And the corner of the closet wall that protruded out, that connected right down the middle of my spine. And that was another Ziploc noise feeling. And I lost all feeling in my legs, and I was like, oh fuck, I hope I'm not paralyzed from the waist down. And I just dropped to the ground. That's when she got on top of me and started hitting me. And I said, hey, I can't move my legs. You jammed me between the door and the closet. And that's when she got up. And I called the cop, not the cops, but 911. I said my back's fucked up. And then when the ambulance showed up, that's when they decided to call the cops. Because they thought I was the abuser in the relationship. I initiated everything. I said no. But the state I live in, you can't the fuck's that word? You can't claim self-defense against a woman. Even if she's bigger than you, even if she's stronger than you. This is a feminist-run state. You can only claim self-defense against another man. But yeah, I spent 7 days in jail for that. And I couldn't get nobody to give me my meal because I couldn't get off the bed. That's how fucking bad it was when I was in that jail. They finally took me to the infirmary there in jail and they said, we don't know what to do, but we're going to let you stay here till you can actually get to the hospital and figure out what to do. And the doctor, he read the report and he looked at me like I'm actually an abusive man and thought I deserved what I got. So he didn't even prescribe me Tylenol from the hospital itself or go get it at the pharmacy. Ibuprofen or whatever, you know. I couldn't even make it to where I was going to do a follow-up. And I had to let it heal the way it healed. I'm 40 right now. My back pain is really getting to me really bad. I've never been able to receive help from it. I've never been able to get on their program for a dial-a-ride in this state to try and get to my medical appointments. I always had to rely on someone who didn't have nothing doing on my appointment days, or try my best to manage taking regular city transit. And sometimes these appointments were on the weekends and the buses where I lived didn't run on weekends at the time. Some of that's changed, but the prices for taking the bus has gotten expensive. I couldn't really fucking do shit. And I'm really trying to do something right now. I got some fucking meat, fucking, call it, being simmered. I was gonna chop up some tortillas, throw them in, and then throw in some eggs after the tortillas got a little brown. I have hamburgers, tortilla sliced in sections that look like chips, and scrambled eggs. I thought about using Top Ramen. I mean, even with this injury that I had when 9/11 came around and I was asked to answer the call, and I said I already answered the call when I turned 18. You guys denied me because my original last name that would have been was Kijek, and that's Native American, Alaskan Native. But because my grandpa had to have an adopted last name to hide from the government, it was Russian. And they didn't care that he did serve in World War II. They didn't care that my uncles served in Vietnam that had that same last name. But when I turned 18, I told them who my uncles were. They all have the same last name. They said, we don't care. We don't trust you. We don't believe you. For all we know, you could have fucking hacked this person for his information, come in here claiming you are this person. But yeah, 9/11 came around a couple weeks later. I wasn't living in my home state. I was living down here in the lower 48. And they found out where I was living. Said, hey man, you want to answer the call? Be a patriot? And I was like, I was already trying to do that before this shit happened. Didn't want me now. I'm not going to do it. You know, because even though I had this injury, I was still trying to do something. Because I come from a nation that honors and respects the warrior code and our warriors. And the thing is, if they did let me join when I wanted to, I still would have been proud if I couldn't complete the boot camp part of it. At least I had status that I tried to do my best with what I had left. I'm 40 now. I'm trying to do my best with what I got left. Yeah, sure, there's a lot of other men that's far off worse than I am. I'm not trying to take away from their burdens. But some of those men that are far off worse than I was were born far off worse than I was. I wasn't. I was a completely healthy young man who got injured really bad and couldn't get no help for it. And especially at the time, and the way everything was, hate-fueled. Especially when a doctor sees a young man who's not even fucking 16 yet, got a bigger bank account than he does. That's enough motivation for a guy like that to tell his other colleagues, if he ever shows up, tell him you can't do nothing for him. Well, you see, 6 months after that, there was another female in my home state on the mainland. She got similar injuries from a different type of job. They flew her ass to San Francisco to get her shit fixed so she can go back to work. Where's the equality in that? See, I never felt this pain throughout my mid-20s until now. Part of that reason is the hardcore drugs I did in my mid-20s and 30s. And I started feeling it after I quit doing that shit. But I still managed. And then I said, fuck it. I'm going to smoke weed, drink beer to help manage the pain. But when I was told I was going to be a father, I cold turkey alcohol and weed for a whole year. Then when I moved into this place, I had gotten a caregiver. She was supposed to come pick me up, take me to my appointments. But every time her landlord had his relatives come over, they would always party. So my caregiver would cancel on me. And stay there with their landlord and party. So I couldn't get another caregiver because they didn't want to drive 30 miles to come get me and then drive another 30 miles to go back to the hospital. So I ended up started drinking and smoking weed again. And my so-called kid, she didn't like it when we smoked weed. I mean, I really didn't drink around her until, her mom was ready to fucking leave. But when I did drink, I wouldn't drink in the bedroom while they were in there. I'd come out to the living room and drink, and I'd sit and watch TV. And I wouldn't bother with any of them when I drank. But since they're not here anymore, and this landlord here raised the rent on me, without fixing the mold coming out of the faucets. I've been looking for another place to stay for the last 2 years. And because I'm single and don't have a family to move in with, I'm not a high priority. And because of my condition, they're not trying to say it's discrimination. Because they believe I can get a fucking job. I mean, yeah, I'm sure I can get a job, but the jobs I applied for, they won't hire me. Sitting at a desk job, and the ones that are willing to hire me, it's predominantly female coworkers. You know what that fucking Me Too movement is about. If I fucking perform well at my job and I get promoted for doing it, and there's been females there that's been there for fucking 5-10 years and haven't gotten promoted. I don't want to risk that. And for any of you who've seen my vids, you know I'm usually standing up straight or sitting straight as possible. This is one of those times that I pucked